So competitiveness was essentially only price. And what is comparative analysis? Yeah, what is comparative analysis? Yeah, anyone? What will comparative analysis be?
I mean, comparative analysis or
what will it be? Take a guess. So somebody had talked about those things earlier.
Benchmarking with
okay,
industries.
Benchmarking, quality, all these aspects will be part of that. See, let us try and understand. So you have a market, let us say. This is a market. And you want to capture this much of the market. Okay? You want to capture this portion of the market. So what all will you do? What all will you have to do? You will have to have a unique selling point. You will have to have better quality. Okay? You will have to have, somebody talked about benchmark. So your benchmark has to be much higher. Okay.
customer
Now, when
satisfaction?
you do all this, what is going to happen? What is going to happen is that you are going to bleed, and the competition is also going to bleed. So this is known as the red ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy, where you are fighting on USP, on quality, on benchmarking, on all these things. So you will bleed and the competition will bleed. Okay? So this is what is happening. Now, I have a second option, and that is called the blue ocean strategy. So instead of fighting for this, I create a market for myself which is outside this market. So I'm not fighting to get a part of the existing market. I now create a market for myself which is outside. So there is no bleeding. I let the other guys exist wherever they are. I don't fight with them at all. So I will not bleed, and they can continue doing whatever they are doing, and I will capture a market which is much bigger than the original market. Okay? So one of the best examples of this is this company called Facebook. Have you what does Facebook do? Facebook, what is the need that it satisfies? What need? Like I told you, every company is satisfying some need. So what need does Facebook satisfy?
Social interaction.
Networking.
Okay, social interaction, being in touch with friends and family. Who else, who used to do this work earlier?
Orkut.
No.
Orkut. Orkut.
No.
Google Hangout.
No. Post office.
Post office.
That's right.
Being in touch with friends and family was performed by post office. That used to perform the same function. Then Facebook came. Did post office realize that Facebook is in the same market? No, they did not. They created a market for themselves which was totally outside the post office. Post office used to sell inland letters, envelopes, postcards, and so on. Facebook did not get into that market at all, but it was satisfying the same need. And what has happened to post office today? It has shrunk. Post offices has become so small. Today, India Post wants to become a bank because the post office has shrunk totally. Okay. So therefore, you must understand that this is what is happening. So when you look at things, try to get into the root. What is the need that you are satisfying? So this is comparative analysis. Okay. Can you see the slide now? Is it visible?
Yes, Ajay.
Visible.
Okay.
Ajay, actually, I'm not able to link with the example you gave and this comparative analysis.
Comparative analysis. Comparative analysis is what part of the market have you captured? That is how you, so that I said, what part of the market have you captured? So the first example through Red Ocean. So you have basically two strategies. First strategy is Red Ocean, where you try to capture, let's say, 20% of the market. How will you do that? You will fight in terms of quality, USP, benchmarking. So you will bleed and your competitor will bleed. That's why it is Red Ocean, because the ocean will become red with your blood and your competitor's blood. That is why it's called the Red Ocean strategy. Okay. The second way of achieving the same thing, that is market share, is by creating a market for yourself which is outside the existing market. So you are fulfilling the same need.
But what is that we are comparing here?
We are saying what are the factors that you would look at when you are doing an investment appraisal. Should I go in for this project or should I not go in for the project? So there are financial factors that you will analyze and there are non-financial factors that you will analyze. Non-financial factors are operational survival, competitive position, and comparative analysis. So operational survival, as we saw, was the ability to survive the entire operational period or the envisaged operational period. So if it is a thermal plant, survive for 35 years. If it is a hydel plant, survive for 70 years. If it is a car plant, survive for at least 5 years. So that is what you mean by operational survival. Will my operation survive that period or not? Okay.
Yeah.
Second one was competitive position. So competitive position is related to your price and your price is related to your cost. So if I can bring down my cost, I can bring down my price. And if I can bring down my price, I can capture the market. Right?
Yeah.
So I will be more successful. So my business will be viable. We are looking at investment appraisal. So is the business viable or is the business not viable? So
Okay.
we are looking at competitive position. So this is the second aspect.
Yeah.
The third aspect is comparative analysis. How do I compare with my competition? How much of the market can I capture? So it is comparative analysis. How do I compare with my competition? So is my quality better? Do I have a USP? Is my benchmark better than the benchmark of my competition? So if I look at these factors, I am looking at trying to capture a particular chunk of the market. Let's say 20% of the market, of the existing market. Now, if I try to capture the existing market, I am doing what is called Red Ocean strategy. 99% of companies do Red Ocean strategy. So they believe
like what the
that
Jio did to, like what Jio is doing now to Airtel.
Jio is not doing Red Ocean. Jio is doing Blue Ocean strategy.
Jio is trying to capture Airtel market, no? No?
Yeah, but they are doing Blue Ocean strategy. because they went in for a totally new technology.
Okay.
Okay.
But they have captured Airtel market,
Voice
right?
over internet protocol, whereas the others are using the old technology of GSM.
Technology may be different, but they wanted to capture the existing market.
Yeah,
only,
yeah.
Right?
So look, at the end of the day, there is some human need or societal need that the company has to satisfy.
Okay.
Now, how do I satisfy it? Do I satisfy it the way others are doing it, or do I satisfy it in a totally different way? And that's why I gave you the example of Facebook and post office.
Okay.
The need that they are satisfying are the same.
Okay.
Post office is also satisfying the need of being in touch with friend and family, and your Facebook is also doing the same. But is the technology same? No.
Okay.
The technology is totally different. Facebook is using a totally different technology platform to satisfy the same need. And that is why they have...
Blue Ocean is they use advanced technology in a Blue Ocean strategy. Is it?
Facebook did a Blue Ocean strategy. They did not try to send envelopes or postcards or telegrams. They did not try to do that. They used a totally different technology platform to satisfy the same need. So therefore, if I can use a totally different technology to satisfy the same need, I am more likely to be successful than my competitor. And that is how, in the comparative analysis, I will emerge as the winner. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jio is also doing the same. They like Facebook, they are using a totally new technology or a different technology to serve the same need. Instead of GSM, they are using VoIP. So therefore, they are using a totally different technology, and that is why they are able to capture the market that much faster. We'll discuss Jio as we go along. It's a very interesting case study. Jio is a very, very interesting case study. But anyway, so have you understood comparative analysis? Now
Yes,
let
yes.
us look at financial factors.
Okay.
So the financial factors are payback, and then there is something called discounted cash flow and the net present value and the internal rate of return. Under discounted cash flow, you have got two ways of doing it. One is NPV and the other is IRR. Okay, so first let us look at payback. So this is the aim of any project. Investment should be less than returns. Now, when your investment is equal to your return, so let us say by the time you come to this place, your investments and returns are same. That means the cumulative cash flow of investment is equal to the cumulative cash flow of returns. Maybe at this place, I will get break even or I will get payback. So the definition is, can we have Uday? Uday, can you read this?
Yes. Payback period. So payback period is the time expected to be taken by the proposed project to get a financial return equal to the original investment made. Payback period is achieved when the cumulative cash flow becomes equal to the initial investment. Payback period does not consider the whole lifespan of the project. Calculation stops once the original investment has been recovered.
Okay, so I'll give you a very simple example. Let us say I'm setting up a grocery shop. And let us assume that my cash flow, what is cash flow? Cash flow is inflow minus outflow. All my inflows minus all my outflows, which means, my wages, my salaries, my raw material, my interest payment, my rental, whatever. Okay. Let us say that is 40,000 rupees. Now the Kirana shop that I'm going to, or the grocery shop that I'm going to set up, the owner, I'm going to take it on rent for 5 years. But the owner tells me that, look, I will give it to you for 5 years, but I want a pagdi of 1 lakh rupees. What is a pagdi, anyone? What is pagdi? Have you heard of pagdi?
Yes, yes.
What is it? What is pagdi? Very common in Bombay, very common in Calcutta.
It's kind of advance amount.
It is not an advance amount. It is a non-refundable deposit. So it is not advance. It is a non-refundable deposit. The pagdi will not come back to you. Okay. So
Okay.
he's asked for 1 lakh rupees. So that is my investment. Otherwise, my cash flow is 40,000 rupees per year. So when do I break even? In how much time do I break even?
2.5
When do I
years.
get my, pardon?
2.5 years.
Exactly, 2.5 years. So that is the concept of cash flow. That is the concept of payback. Now a similar example here, you have an initial investment of 2 lakhs and your inflow, outflow, cash flow. Inflow minus outflow is cash flow. So this is your cumulative cash flow. So by the end of the 4th year, your cumulative cash flow is 1,70,000. And by the end of the 5th year, your cumulative cash flow is 3,10,000. So when have you broken even? Somewhere in the between the 4th and the 5th year, 4 years and some months. Now, how many months? Now, I had a shortfall of 30,000, like 170 and 2 lakhs. So there's a shortfall of 30,000. And I'm getting 1,40,000 in 12 months, which means every month I am getting 140 divided by 12. So 11,667, 11,667 every month. Now 30,000 divided by 11,667 is 2.57 months. So therefore my payback is happening in 4 years and 2.57 months. But my profit that I have earned on my investment of 2 lakhs is 1,10,000, right? So not bad. I have earned a 1,10,000 profit on an investment of 2 lakhs over a period of 5 years, which seems damn good, right? So this is how I look at payback. Now it has advantages and disadvantages. So advantages is it is simple to use, good as an initial filter, standard technique used worldwide, favors projects with faster returns, better for company liquidity. It is effective for high risk situations. The disadvantage is that it has ignored the time value of money. It does not consider project cash flows after the payback period has been reached. It is not good for long-term projects. What do you understand by the time value of money? What is this time value of money?
Depreciation.
Depreciation.
Yeah, money will depreciate. Okay. Now let us look at, just look at my board. Is it visible or should I stop showing this?
You can stop sharing, so maybe it will be clear now.
You can click on Ajay's screen.
No, I am saying if you remove that presentation, at least the video will become better.
Yeah, I'll do that. Video can always come back. Okay. You can see me now? Clear?
Yes.
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 Okay. So let us say that I have a cash flow of 1,000 rupees every year. So this is year 0, then year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. Now I get 1,000 rupees every year. Same 1,000 rupees I am getting every year. But what is the worth of this 1,000 rupees? In year 0, what was 1,000? And if I have a 10% depreciation of money, the 1,000 rupees that I get after 1 year is actually equal to 910. Now the 1,000 rupees that I get after 2 years is actually equal to 830. The 1,000 rupees that I get after 3 years is worth only 750. The 4th year what I get is worth only 680. The 5th year what I get is worth only 620. So I get a curve where dy by dx is approaching 0 but never becomes 0. So dy by dx approaching 0. That's what I get. Now, which basically means that the further into the future I get the money, the lesser is the worth of that money. Okay?
Yeah.
So this aspect has not been covered. So I must consider this. So I must do something called a discounted cash flow. Discounted cash flow relates future cash flows over the project's life to a common base value. DCF is based on the fact that the value of money depreciates with time. The expected cash flows are adjusted for money over time. Discounting cash flows gives a more realistic picture of the potential project's feasibility. Two techniques are net present value and internal rate of return. Now let us first understand net present value. Okay, so VB, who is VB? Okay, Umesh Babu. Okay, can you read this?
Yes. Net present value, NPV. NPV shows project's net value in today's monetary terms. Expected cash flows of future adjusted for money value. NPV helps to compare viability of projects that differ in time span, initial investments, and cash flows. Quantifies expected profit in absolute terms, adjusted for time value of money. Higher the NPV, better the project. Any project having negative NPV should be rejected.
Okay, so now the present value is given by the formula FV upon 1 plus R to the power of N, where FV is the future value, R is the discount rate, and N is the number of years. So for every year, you have to calculate it separately. So calculate the cash flow for each year, that is income minus expense. Calculate the present value for each year, which is discount annual cash flow by the given discount rate. Sum up the present values so calculated, subtract the initial investment, and you get the NPV. Discount factor is another method of using it. So instead of writing the formula like this, FV upon 1 plus R to the power N, I can take this FV this side and I can put brackets over here and say FV multiplied by 1 plus R to the power N. Okay, is that okay? You understood this? If I put this FV here, PV is equal to FV multiplied by 1 plus R to the 1 upon 1 plus R to the power N. So this value 1 upon 1 plus R to the power N is the discounting factor. Now it is always easier to multiply than to divide, and therefore if I can get this from my log tables, and these are available in my log tables, my calculation becomes that much easier. So the same numbers that we had taken earlier for the previous one, I can calculate I have taken now a discount factor of 10%. So therefore, my discount factor will be 1 for year 0, 0.91, 0.83, 0.75, 0.68, and 0.62. Or I can calculate them in the laborious method like this. My inflow in year 1 is minus 2 lakhs. My inflow in year sorry, this is year 0 is minus 2 lakhs. Year 1 is plus 50,000. But this 50,000 is not equal to 50,000. This 50,000 is 50,000. The real value is 50,000 multiplied by 0.91. So 45.5. Again, I got 50,000. But this 50,000 is not actually 50,000. The real value of this 50,000 is 50,000 multiplied by 0.83. So 41.5 or 41,500. This 40,000 that I got at the end of year 3 is not actually 40,000. This is 40,000 multiplied by 0.75. So it is actually worth, the real value is only 30,000. And similarly, 20,400 for the 4th year and 86,800 for the 5th year. Now, when I add this up, I actually get 24,200. So in the previous case, I was assuming that I'm making a 1,10,000 profit on a 2 lakh investment. But the real profit in real terms is only 24,200. Because the value of the money that I'm getting is depreciating. And that is why, like I told you, if you can finish your project faster and your cash flow starts earlier, you actually end up earning a lot more than you would have otherwise. Because when I get some income today, it is much better than some hopeful income in the future. Okay. So here we see that your NPV is 24,200. So the project is viable because you are earning a profit of 24,200. Now, what would happen if 10% became 20%? What would I get here? 10% I had taken this as 20%. What would happen here?
Maybe minus some loss.
It will be a negative figure.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
Negative. Okay. Negative. So there is some interest rate which is between 10% and 20% in which this will be 0.
Correct.
There will be some interest rate. I can arrive at it by trial and error.
That is IRR.
Okay. And that interest rate is my internal rate of return. So we'll just come to that. But this is the point to be noted. Now, this has also got certain advantages and disadvantages. So can we have
The previous
can you do
slide, one query, the previous slide, the 200 what we subtracted is the first year cash flow minus for expense outflow.
Yeah. Initial investment.
Initial investment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Got it. Yes.
Yeah. So advantages and disadvantages, can we have Vinod read this out?
Sure, sir. Net present value advantages. NPV, more realistic, considers time value of money. On future cash flows are compared to today's value. Considers whole time span of project from beginning to end.
Continue. Disadvantage.
Disadvantages. Accuracy depends on how well future cash flows and future interest rate is predicted. Does not consider non-financial data. Has bias towards short-term projects.
Okay. Now, can you really predict future cash flows? The answer is no. You can only make an educated guess. So it's a guess estimate. Can Das Sahab tell me what will be the interest rate 6 months from now? Who's Das Sahab? Who's Das? Who's Mr. Das? Das Sahab kaun hai?
RBI governor.
RBI governor.
Can the RBI governor tell me what will be the interest rate 6 months from now?
No.
No, based
It's only
So
an
if
estimate.
it's not, who is Ajay Bhattacharya or Vinod or Usha or Arjun, who are we to guess? But does that mean that we will not carry out this analysis? Of course, we should carry out this analysis. Whenever you carry out analysis for a project, it is always on limited information. Okay? So with the limited information, you have to make an educated guess. So you can look at IMF reports, Standards and Poor's report, World Bank reports, and probably the best will be looking at the bond market. So the Government of India bond, at how much discount rate is it selling? So the Government of India bond has a face value of 9%, but it is being sold at a discount rate of 2%. What does it imply? It implies that the market is anticipating that over the next 15 years, because most of these Government of India bonds are for 15 years, the market is anticipating for the next 15 years, the average interest rate will be 7%. That is why it is being sold at a discount. Okay. Similarly, if it is being sold at a premium, that means it is anticipating that it will be more than 9%. So that is a good place where you can get an idea of what these rates will be. However, as far as we in the project are concerned, there are experts who will give us these discount rates, and then we have to simply calculate the NPV and the IRR. Now, higher the interest rate, lower will be the NPV. However, we must understand the IRR. IRR is that discount rate at which the NPV of the project will be 0. So we have to do it. It shows the break-even discount rate at which the project will have 0 profit or loss. IRR expresses profitability as a percentage, while NPV expresses profitability in absolute terms. Higher the IRR, better the project. IRR is arrived at by trial and error or by using software. Actually, Excel can be used for coming out with your IRR. But as far as the exam is concerned, since you are not allowed to use the your Excel sheet, you will have to do it by trial and error. So higher the interest rate, lower will be the NPV. It is calculated to nullify the impact of time value of money on a proposed project. So this is the blue portion that we have seen. Now we just come to the project charter. I just want to explain what a project charter is before we call it a day. Okay, so the project charter, can we have with Vinay? Vinay Devineni?
Yes,
Can you read that?
yes. The project charter formally authorizes the project to go ahead, gives authority to the project manager to use the organization's resources. Without a project charter, the project cannot be started. An approved business case can act as a project charter, or a separate charter is documented. A contract can also act as a charter. Charter is the basis of allocation of resources to the project and thus forms link between project and the ongoing work of the organization. The sponsor is responsible to issue the project charter. Project charter can also be issued by another person or organization associated with funding, example, government department or funding agency. Contents of project charter: vision and mission statement of the organizations, business need, why the project is needed, justification of the project and results of feasibility study, expected investment required, customers' requirements and expectations, likely stakeholder influences, broad outline of risks. Continuation of the contents of the project charter: project manager nominated by name, project budget, expected approximate figures, less accurate at this stage, that is at the project charter stage, assumptions or constraints, description of product or service to be delivered by the project, high level description, summary of required completion dates, milestone schedule, allocation of responsibility, organizations, departments, personnel to be involved.
Okay, so we'll do design tomorrow. We are slightly behind schedule, but it doesn't matter. We have 5 days, so it will not be a problem. So let us now look at the homework. So you have all been given your handout. Okay. So if you go to page 298 of the handout.
I think we haven't received it.
I'm sure you would have received it.
We haven't received it.
No.
The link was shared.
Yeah, no, it was a part of your meeting invite.
Meeting invite.
It was part of your meeting invite.
I think the link was shared, right?
Yes,
Are you sure?
we have that actually as part of our meeting invite. This has
Meeting
been
invite.
attached.
Yes, part of meeting invite, the document has been shared. PDF document has been shared.
Okay. So the PDF document, page 298 is quiz number 1. So you will do quiz number 1. Okay. And then you come to assignments, which is at page 376. Sorry. 378 here, but please, page numbering is page 376. Okay. So NPV, you have been given 2 projects. You have to tell us which one is viable, and the factors have been given here already. Then you have another project which has a capital cost of 1 lakh. The interest rate expected is 10%, and your revenue is 15,000 every year for 3 years. Calculate the NPV of the project and will the project be viable or not. Then you have another table that shows you the initial investment and discount factors associated with a particular project. You have to calculate the payback and NPV of this project. Then you have this IRR problem. A project has an initial investment of 149,500, net cash flows of 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, and 25,000 over 5 years. And you have been given the discount rate with discount factors for 8%, 10%, 15%, and 16%. You have to calculate through trial and error the IRR of the project. So basically, you have to multiply these factors with the cash flow and find out where do you get a value closest to 0. In reality, you may not get 0. It says it is, where the NPV is 0, but we will accept something which is closest to 0. Okay, as close to 0 as possible. You may not get exact 0 over here. So as close to 0 as possible.
But
so this is homework. Okay,
Yeah,
so these problems are the homework plus the quiz. And I would expect you to go through the entire study material that has been given to you. And then tomorrow we'll start off with design.
Where is the quiz, Ajay? Quiz page number?
Page 376 and 377. 376 and 377. And the quiz at page 300. Okay.
300.
one query. So we consider different rate, or it's a constant rate we should consider throughout, I mean, every year, the interest, what you call?
So whatever is the rate that has been given.
Now, the last question you have solved for the IRR, for the trial and error.
Yeah.
So
So
here,
you have to actually do trial and error. So you have to do it with 8% and see whether it is 0. Then 10% see whether it is 0. Then 15% see whether it is 0. With 16% see whether it is 0. Wherever you get a value closest to 0, you select that.
okay, so that being interest for 1, 2, 3 through 5 years has to be taken same number. It's not like we have to
Yeah,
choose random.
obviously. When
Yeah,
you're
that
taking
way.
8%, you have to take these values.
Okay. I was thinking
For
you have to
8%,
pick and yeah, every year different number so that it will be different. Okay, understood. Yeah.
yeah. So you have to do this by trial and error.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So that's all for today. We see you tomorrow at 9:30. We start at 9:30.
So these slides will be shared, or only the material? What
Only
is
the
on?
material.
Okay.
Yeah. The material has all the slides. Same
Okay.
slides. Yes.
Okay.
Same slides are there in the material.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you.
Okay, see you
Thank you.
tomorrow at 9:30.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Bye.